Hey guys, it's Kelsey and welcome to my final layout using Felicity Jane's Harper collection. So I am down to scraps. I've been saving this mustardy piece because it's the only large-ish chunk I've had to be able to do this final layout with. Everything else is just little bits, so we're going to try and make a page with it. I know it will probably be a conjumble by the end, but I want to get these products used up. I don't want them left over, so we're just going to see what we can do. This is our last day on Oahu before we headed home, so we just decided to hang out at the North Shore beach near where my brother lives. So I have a picture of me. I'm sitting in the chair taking the picture, and you can see my brother and my mom. We are drinking Landshark, which is like a family beach tradition. It is our our ocean beer of choice. So I wanted to make sure I got that documented. I also have this smaller photo. I didn't think I would have a whole page to itself with this photo, but I definitely wanted it documented. This is the same moment I had walked down to the ocean to turn around and take a picture of my mom and my brother with the mountain in the background, and I can't see anything. It's really sunny. I really can't see my screen. I'm really just trying to position it to where they're in frame and the mountain is in frame. So I take a couple pictures. I walk back up to my chair, and then I kind of put my phone in shadow so I can actually see the pictures. And my brother is just making this ridiculous goofy face, which is so him. So I decided to just scrap it how it was. If he didn't want to look silly, he shouldn't look silly in my photo. So it's getting on the page. I think it's funny, and we'll giggle at it when we look back on it. So I definitely wanted to get that scrapped. So I had the tiny frame left over from this collection, so I went ahead and just matted that photo in it. It was the perfect size. By this point, it's not about the scenery. Have other pictures of the scenery. I really just wanted to frame him and my mom because he's just silly. So I need to find a way to get that on there. I was playing a little bit with it. I'm trying to find ways to make these scraps look like bigger layers. So you can see I took two of those maroon checkered pieces, pop them either side of the photo so it looks like one longer piece, and then I have a scrap of the fruit pattern paper left. So those are pretty much going to be my layers. I just want to try and get the ephemera used up. What's to the left there is pretty much everything that's left over, so I want to get as much of that as possible on this page. I do have the grateful ephemera piece still, so I thought that would be a nice little embellished area. I really like how it looks on the top right corner running onto the white. Of course, I had to mat the mustard on the white since I don't have a full 12 by 12, so that's nice. It makes it 12 by 12, kind of frames the rest of the layout for me. And then you can see the little scallopy bits that are left over from that little intro page I was talking about on my last layout. I definitely want to use those too. So I have the mustardy one down below the photo, and then the teal one up by the grateful. I really want to get those used up in clusters somewhere on this page. So that's kind of where I'm starting. I really like this florally bit, but it's kind of throwing me because it has green in it, and there's not green anywhere else in this collection. It has orange in it, and there's no orange anywhere else in this collection. So I really wanted to get that floral piece on here, but it doesn't end up making it, I don't believe. So I'll find another way to use it. It'll look really nice on the front of a card or something, worst case scenario. Otherwise I'll get it used on something else. But I have a little scrap of this little yellow ephemera piece. It was a large yellow tag that I used earlier in the month. I guess it was last month by the time you're seeing this. So I was thinking about cutting it into a banner and having it popping out somewhere, but I thought it would be really cute to die cut a little mini tag out of the scrap of a tag. So I used my diamond press little mini die cutting machine to cut a tiny little tag out of that yellow scrap, and I can't wait to use that. I think that looks adorable. And now I'm just getting the layers trimmed up and glued down so I can actually start officially getting this page together and glued. I do have that larger frame that I backed in a scrap of that same teal. I want to get some frames used up on here. I have 3 left over, so the small one I got used up with the photo, and this larger one I want to be the base of a little embellishment cluster on the top of the larger photo. So I really like how that looks. I'm going to go ahead and glue all of this down. And then I just know I need to build out a little bit more where that larger frame is. But I like that I got a scrap of the teal used up to back the frame, and it'll help balance the little scallopy piece that's in the top. I do know with those two teal pieces being there, I want teal somewhere else as well. So that it's a little bit more balanced. So I'm keeping that in mind as well. But I did use my last branding strip on this page. That's that piece you saw right away that I put across the bottom of the page. That's the last branding strip. I got them all used up and I'm super proud of myself. So there's that. And then I did have one more scrap of that teal. So I did just cut it into a banner, and that's going to run behind the photo along the bottom across that horizontal piece. And so I really like that I got the teal down there too, because it looks a little bit more balanced now. And then I am gluing down the little mustardy scallopy bit. I decided the photo was going to live down there underneath the bigger photo since I didn't really want to use the big florally piece. And then I thought the little yellow tag would look nice in the corner of the mini photo, just to kind of draw your tag to it, because it's a tiny photo and it's a tiny tag, and I just thought they looked really cute together. So I am threading that tag with a little bit of embroidery floss, just to finish off my little tiny tag. It's so cute. And now I am going to glue down the little teal scallopy bit at the top of the page. So I'm cutting it so it'll look like it runs longer than it actually is. So you'll see me put a little piece of it in the corner, and then the label, and then the longer bit on the inside. That way it looks like it runs a little bit longer than it actually is. But I think that's a nice little place for that grateful. I think it's a nice little detail. If I had all these products to begin with and I needed to scrapbook this page, I know this is not how the page would turn out, but it turns out a little bit more like eclectic. Like, it's a little bit more unusual for me by the end. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm a little confused, but I really like how it turned out. It made me think in different ways, and that's why I like working with scraps. It can be really, really frustrating, but working with the end of a kit, I feel like I come up with the most unusual pages. So I'm really trying to get all of this stuff on here. You can see me playing again with the floral piece, again with the bird. They don't make it on there. I keep trying because I really want to use up all the things. I want to use the final frame because there's one frame left. I'm like, are you kidding me? Can you not get this last frame on here? But everywhere I tried to put it, it really kind of threw things off. And I was like, I don't want to just throw it on here to use it if it's going to detract from my designs. So it's like, you know what? It's a white and black frame. I can use it with probably literally any other collection I use. Like, it'll get used up. Same with the bird. Like, it's black and white. I'm sure I can use it somewhere. But I do have a few fussy cut leaves from one of the pocket cards from a previous page. So I'm going to cluster a few of them up there by the frame. And I think that looks really nice. I was playing with the epoxy stickers. I have these really pale pink ones left that I tried to use, and they looked really, really weird because there's no other light pink on this page except for a little bit in the fruit pattern paper. But I had a few scraps from this same pale pink from a pocket card that I had hacked up for whatever sentiment was on it. So I decided to tuck in a few of those pale pink pieces around the photo so that there was pink on the page, so then I could go back and add those pale pink epoxy hearts and they wouldn't seem completely like they came from nowhere. So I think the pale pink is really unexpected because there's such rich jewel tones in this collection, and all of a sudden there's this pale pink, but it is in the fruit pattern paper that's matting the photo, so I feel like it does go. It was just not something I would have done if I wasn't trying to use the epoxy hearts, but I think the little heart on the mini tag looks adorable. I did get my title on here. I'm just titling it Landshark, and then I'd used the last little gold puffy heart from the alpha set. And with adding the gold, I wanted to add a little bit of gold somewhere else too, so I did just add that little gold and white chevron tag behind the frame. So I think that looks really nice. Now the gold is a little bit more balanced. And now I'm just looking at my scraps. I have these corner bits from what I cut off from backing that one frame, that teal. So I decided to go through my die cuts and just die cut a couple of hearts from those so they wouldn't go in the trash can. So that's what I'm doing now. I didn't think I would use them on this page. I just figured if all of this is going back with my Felicity Jane stash for another time, I'd rather these weird looking bits be usable. And I thought I'd use them a lot easier if they were in a shape rather than these really scrappy looking corners. So out of the 5, there were only 3 big enough for me to cut hearts out of, but I figured that's good enough. I'm glad that at least they're hearts. I'll use them easier that way than if they were that weird triangular shape. So I went ahead and cut them, and then I was like, you know what, let's just let's just use them. So I did. I thought about scattering them up. They're double-sided, so the back side was the yellow. I thought about using the yellow, but in the end I really thought the teal would look better and balance the teal from around the page as well. And I thought about staggering them, but in the end I just thought, 3 hearts just running down that blank area of that, mauvey maroony check would look really nice. So that's what I decided to do. And then since I used the teal side, I had 2 epoxy yellow hearts left over, so I just put those in the top and bottom heart, and I think it looks really cute. So like an unusual page came together very strangely, but I really like what it came up with. So here are all the close-ups. I will be doing a layout share showing you everything I made with my Felicity Jane collection, the Harper collection, and I'll show you what everything that's left over, but you saw most of it here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.